was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, may don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning once again, and thank you for staying with us. The 12th day of August 2024 happens to be International Youth Day, and the celebrations will be taking place in Soroti. We have a team already down there making sure that you get all the details. But as we wait on how the celebrations will be taking place in studio, I have Mr. Should I call him Mr. or Dr.? Dr. Jibril Semakura, pardon? Medical doctor, Dr. Jibril Semakura Owomugisha, and we're going to be talking about waste management and talking about a robust system that we can employ and a conversation on the same. Please note that this is on the background of what happened on Saturday morning, and it is on that we'll be basing to have this very same conversation. How do we have something that is sustainable, something manageable, and alternative ways that we can be employing to safeguard the Ugandans, one, from such disasters, losing lives in such an unprecedented way, but also protecting Ugandans from the other effects of waste management, and that is a conversation we're going to be having. So please do be part of us. Join us. You can join us on Twitter, and you can send in, actually on X, you can send in your comment, but also we'll be displaying the WhatsApp number on your screen, and you'll be able to send through your message and what you think you can contribute to this conversation. But for now, let's check in with Dr. Jibril. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning once again. I'm very sure that the Ugandans are tuning in. And you know, in the Bible, it is highlighted or emphasized. Is it Genesis 29 to 30, where the Almighty gave us authority as human beings to preserve and co-live with nature.
Right.
And meaning, once that relationship is not balanced, what is happening today may keep happening, but in different ways.
Right.
In the same way, I wish to thank the President that exclusively came in with the support to the affected communities. We are sorry for whatever is happening, but still we may not keep sending in condolence messages. We appreciate the work done by the KCCA, NEMA, and other NGOs like Red Cross on the ground, trying to save the communities. You know, it is very true that the wastes we are talking about are generated from communities. So we are part of the problem.
as
communities.
General, yes.
Yes. So you cannot blame anyone but blaming ourselves. Especially now that if you see the nature of the wastes we are talking about, we have, let's say, biodegradable wastes full of banana peelings. Whole from the
decompose.
Yes. We have the plastics, polythene bags, and other polymers. All of these are made from here. So it is very challenging that we are not doing enough, or we are not sustainably managing these wastes. From the household level, this is what should be like our point of interest. That if KCCA vehicle always, the truck always moves around the town correcting these wastes, how best can we prepare the waste producers on managing them from the household level? In this way, I'm talking about sorting of these wastes. We all know under soil health, when we are promoting soil health, we need humus added. And Uganda being like an agricultural country, imagine that the humus which should have been used to add fertility in soils, it is the same that is killing people now. You get it?
Right.
That it was piled in one place, we created a hill, now the hill is sliding, killing the communities. And why is this hill like sliding? Because it is made up of various layers. We have the plastics within, we have the people's clothes, we have diapers, that it was hard for them to have a single compacted layer. So it is like aerated. So when rains came and the hill was too tall, this was automatic, that it had to slide down and killing the communities. So how best can we protect ourselves from this or from reoccurring?
Yes, because from what you've just explained, it now goes slightly away from the communities, much as we contribute to this. This landfill, one, was already known to be a danger spot, and now we have to look at how do we have something sustainable that ensures safety of the Ugandans at the end of the day.
Let it be made clear that we may not keep in the same line of dumping or looking for other dumping sites. What can be got from these wastes? Or what are other ways of managing these wastes? It is very well known that in countries like Germany, over 60% of their waste is recycled. It is reused. It is very true again that we saw a clip in Ethiopia where they are incinerating these wastes, generating electricity to run the machines.
The same machines that are being used to incinerate?
Yes, the wastes are the raw materials being incinerated to generate heat in the name of electricity to run the machines and supply power.
Right.
When you go to Tanzania, over 70% at household level, they use biogas. But the raw materials needed in the biogas, these are the biodegradable wastes, which we are collecting from communities, piling them somewhere. So before we think of looking for another dumping site, what is it that we can use these wastes for? When you read through the National Environmental Act, it clearly, that is number 5 of 2019, it clearly tells us on waste management, whereby all producers, the suppliers of non-biodegradable wastes, are guided to give alternatives or alternative ways of managing their wastes. That whoever is into plastic production, after distributing my plastics, I have a task of recorrecting these plastics, reuse them for something else. It is very unfair that today the rate of plastic production, polythene production and supply is far higher than the rate of plastic recycling.
Mm.
That's why you see, when you see clearly on that garbage, you will see a lot of plastics, a lot of non-biodegradable wastes, whereby the supplier or the producer is seated somewhere. You get it? So where is the challenge now? That can we clearly implement what the law guides?
Right.
That if there is no need of a KCCA truck carrying waste full of plastics from a household level, if someone who was meant to recollect those plastics has, like, him or her done his or her role, you get it? So in this way, we shall be avoiding, like, the piling of these wastes in one place. Let's find alternatives or other solutions how we can use these as raw materials. And on this very note, yes, the communities were affected, but I'm very sure the KCCA knew about what could be the impacts of this site. Maybe they didn't get enough money, you never know.
According to Dr. Luimbazi, actually there was not enough money availed because there was land that was purchased in 2016, which was supposed to relocate the individuals that were staying in those areas. The unfortunate bit is that according to...
I'll say a quotation of over 6 billion needed, that were needed to...
Well, according to the information available back then, what was available was about 3 billion.
3 billion.
Yes.
Just to get another dumping site or to find alternatives of managing these wastes?
No. To get where to put the individuals.
To put where the individuals,
Yes.
and they get another site of dumping.
Yes.
Do you think it is sustainable?
I also don't think it is sustainable.
It is not sustainable
Yes.
at all. I would prefer that if we sit down, we see the nature of these wastes from the communities. We have people making briquettes. I know you have seen these people.
Yes,
This
yes.
is alternative renewable energy needed at household level. So can we say that all these biodegradable wastes are collected and piled somewhere and reused to make briquettes?
Right.
In this way, we shall be minimizing the need of charcoal from town. We'll be minimizing the need of electricity as the cooking fuel. You get it?
Right.
So only that we are not setting priorities.
So, Dr. Jibril, I understand you work with the Ministry of Water and Environment, and I believe this conversation now goes back down to the bodies that are put in positions to ensure that some of these systems are put in place. For example, it's easier to have a group of 10 people and you train them and they understand what needs to be done and they constitute a body or an authority. But it's also hard to get over 45 million Ugandans or 43 million Ugandans to make sure that a system is put in place and they all implement it. However, there could be guidelines that are being followed. Now the question is, where have we failed as Ugandans in general, and where have the different bodies not done enough to ensure that systems are put in place?
Allow me to say that there is what we call political mafiaism. In this way, you find someone who is benefiting from the plastic production. Let's say someone is benefiting from that factory, and he or she has powers of not supporting the ban on the plastic
because they're gaining something.
Because they are gaining money financially. Because I remember we have been having exhibitions at the ministry during the Uganda Water and Environment Week, where various stakeholders come up with alternatives of packaging these items. Someone exhibits a very good, like paper bags for packaging these items.
Right.
In the name of replacing, in the call of replacing the plastic use,
yes.
the polythene bags. But for years, this has failed to be implemented.
We've had, yes, in Parliament, yes, we've had the proposal to ban Kavera, all these campaigns every now and then, but they never yield, they never get to conclusion.
I may not say that we are not ready at the country, only that we don't have priorities. When you go to Rwanda, those who normally move, you cannot enter Rwanda with plastic or polythene.
That is very true, though. You'll have to have a paper bag that you're using.
You get it? So meaning that as a country, we have to discuss, to set priorities and know what should be done first. In this, we shall be setting prophylaxis measures. Like in medicine, we always prefer prevention than curing.
Right.
That if you have known that it is hazardous to the community, why can't you protect it? You get it? So that is what we need to set at the country. That's why we need to be actually, that we need to teach local people that it is not necessary of you not to sort your wastes. You sort them, have them isolated. You know, these are my diapers, these are my banana peelings, home use. So that when someone is correcting, it makes the work
easier for them. Yes, I've noticed in some households in the West, there is actually, they have the different demarcations. You'll find the whole dust bin, yes, but it has, this is for plastics, this is for biodegradable, and you cannot afford to mix the two. Even your neighbor watches. If they catch you throwing plastic in the biodegradables, you're going to have an issue, not just with the authorities, but starting with your neighbor. And maybe now that is the spirit we need to instill in the Ugandans, but also make provisions as governing bodies and authorities to ensure that these systems are there, so that there is something for someone to follow. I don't know what you think.
You know, again, NEMA is tasked to teach communities on proper waste management.
Right.
So I would prefer if they have, let's say, a countrywide program teaching people on how waste should be managed, so that they can get to know what can be the value of having this waste ready with me. From the Ministry of Energy, under the Renewable Energy Department.
Right.
This is their role actually, that how can we teach people how to make biogas? How can we teach them, how can we help them actually? Because we have enough raw materials. If you have visited Bugolobi, the sewage treatment plant of National for Sewage Corporation, you must have seen how this sewage is treated. You must have seen how methane gas is corrected. You know, all of these are necessary, but we need resources, of which I'm very sure that resources are available.
Only if we prioritize.
Yes.
Right.
There is no need of asking 60 billion to get another dumping site without a clear plan on how you are going to manage the wastes on that very area.
Because I'm thinking waste is always going to be there.
Oh, obviously. Like how you have seen at Chitenzi, they noticed since 1996, the land has been under use. You get?
Yes.
Actually, it is more fertile. If you see the type of vegetation there, it is very green. It is very, very fertile because of the humus we always put there, the decomposing humus. So if we say as a country, we need this waste, use it for other purposes. Trust me, Ugandans, we are very educated, we are very innovative, we can set, like, we can have other values got from these wastes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, in total, we have about 227 dump sites and that are located and mapped around different parts of the city and in the different divisions. And that now gives me, that leads me to the question of how we are managing these sites. And even when you reach some of these sites, even the air itself is not, and that has an impact on the Ugandans. So now, Dr. Jibril, we've looked at, we could have alternative ways of managing waste. That is through recycling, that is through utilizing some of this waste to make to make fuels that can be used. It could be
incineration.
Yes.
You can bury the biodegradable wastes. You bury them to that you create humus in the soils.
Right.
Still, you can reuse. You know, some of these are reusables.
Right.
You get it. So let it not be a matter of just correcting wastes from the public. Then you dump them somewhere. Then the local people also need to be sensitized. You have recently saw a video where a woman was just carrying waste and dumping them into a drainage system.
Right.
This is very unfortunate that with the person blocking the water drainage system. That's why you see floods in Kampala whenever it rains. This is very challenging to human health. that the stagnant water, it is enough as a breeding area for all microbes. You get it? That may affect someone's health.
And some of these individuals are not aware of the effects of their actions.
It's a matter of mindset change. Teaching local people how best can you co-live with the nature. That's what we need to do. After that, then the government can help us, you get it, in implementation of these programs.
Right, and the number is 0709602592. You can get to be a part of this conversation. Let us know what you think. Do you have an alternative? Do you have something you can supplement on when you talk about waste management in our country? Do you have an idea that can also be can be helpful in terms of waste management and how we save ourselves from this? And according to Dr. Jibril, all of us have a part to play as individuals, people in power, even the different authorities that are charged with ensuring there is proper waste management. All of us, it has to be collective effort. So, Dr. Jibril, what do we do now going forward? Because we've understood that the truth is waste is here to stay. Because if it's not plastics or polythene, there is the biodegradable, there is human waste as well.
Yes.
So, how do we go forward from here? Because this is as if a new conversation on the alternatives that we could be having to waste management.
One, can we have recycling plants of these wastes?
Because actually, I was about to ask you, these companies that are charged, you mentioned that in the Constitution, we are charged with, especially if you're producing polythene or plastic, you're charged with making sure that you recollect and recycle. Do we have this being implemented by all the companies?
We are not implementing it, and we have failed to achieve it ever since the law was meant to be implemented. That he who is producing plastics, he who is producing polythene bags, has failed to set up alternative measures on using or on reusing these wastes.
Right.
So without the government asking or tasking these plastic producers or polythene bag producers to recycle or to recollect their waste from the public, we may need more dumping sites.
Right.
You get? Similarly, NEMA is guided to help in implementing these laws. You cannot tell whether they are not fully funded with the security or what, but it is their role that he who is producing, he who is entering into the business of plastic production, let him also come up with another plan on managing the wastes. That is one way. Let's have recycling of these wastes fully supported for implementation.
Right.
Another thing, let the Ministry of Energy come up to support biogas use as part of renewable energy. That if we can set up enough plants for generating biogas, we can support Kampala, the way Tanzania is doing. You get it? That we can divert people's mindset from charcoal, from electricity as cooking fuel into biogas.
Right.
We have renewable energies like briquettes. All of these are from wastes.
Waste, that is true, yes.
You get it? The waste that is collected from the community. So let's have the Ministry of Energy coming up with strong policies on using these wastes for making briquettes, supporting the communities into these programs. Because innovators are there, only that they are not funded, they are not like skilled enough.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
Similarly, let's copy, let's borrow ideas. The way how Ethiopia is incinerating these wastes to produce heat, electricity supplied in town. We can achieve this as a country. It's a matter of having ourselves, having a positive mindset onto waste management.
Right.
It's not an individual role that it's only KCCA or it is only NEMA. It is a game of multiple people. We have the primary health secretary at the Ministry of Health.
Right.
This is their role. People are dying because of these wastes. These are breeding areas for all microbes.
That is true.
So you imagine someone who is living in the closest area. You know, I saw the president in the write-up asking that who allowed people to stay near to these garbage sites.
Right.
Again, you have
Yet
seen
they've
the
been
people.
here for all these years.
You have seen the people in Dundu where they are proposing to have another dumping site, saying no to them bringing the dumping
the
site
site,
near
yes.
to them. They are right, because these are breeding areas for microbes. That's why when you go to all health center force, you only find the people, someone is diagnosed with typhoid, you know, malaria in stagnant waters,
Right,
you know, all these areas, they are enough to harbor microbes that are causing these diseases.
I was trying to find out why do we have people staying in these areas, and according to the information that I could find, some seem to mention that it is cheaper to stay around those areas, especially this time in case here we're talking about Chitezi side. It is cheaper for someone to stay there. Rent is cheap, and even accessibility for some of these individuals. And apparently there are some deals that are run in those areas, and that is why people find it comfortable to stay in those areas even when they are not supposed to be staying there. So what can government do to make it even harder for some of these areas not to be habitable areas? Maybe that because now you're looking at an individual who is adamant. For example, let's talk about the case of Bududa, where we have landslides.
Yes.
Do you know that some individuals refuse to relocate from Bududa area where they are affected by landslides?
It is very true that yes, the UPE program is in place, but people have not got enough time to get knowledge. People are not sensitized enough. So you can imagine someone, you are guided not to live near the rubbish, and for you prefer staying there. And you have seen what is happening to you now.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
So it's a matter of mindset change. Teach people, give them chances. I normally see people, young people, collecting plastics around town.
True, yes, in sacks.
This is a very good program for them as far as the generating money is concerned. But there are those who were buried at the site that they were there.
They were collecting
plastics from. You see how much these people are yearning to get employed. So can we get alternatives like other sources of income for these people?
That is true.
If the law is implemented on recycling these wastes, these people will get employed. They can be technically skilled on how to make briquettes out of these wastes.
Right. Well, unfortunately, Dr. Jibril, our time seems to be out, and I do have some comments as well that have come in that I would love to put forward now. Good morning, Uganda and viewers. Effective waste management involves several strategies to minimize waste generation, maximize reuse and recycling, and ensure proper disposal. Here are some of the ways to manage waste. 1. Reduce or minimize waste generation by reducing consumption, choosing products with minimal packaging, and avoiding single-use items. 2. Reuse items whenever possible, like bags, containers, and bottles. Recycle materials like paper, plastic, glass, and metal. Then compost organic waste like food scraps and yard trimmings. Then also ensure proper disposal of hazardous waste like batteries, electronics, and chemicals. And then segregate waste into categories. For example, organic, inorganic, recyclable are efficient for management. And that is one of the things Dr. Jibril mentioned. Waste to energy, convert waste into energy through incineration and anaerobic digestion. Landfill management, ensure landfills are designed and managed to prevent environmental pollution. Then educate communities about proper waste management practices. Then waste reduction targets, set targets to reduce waste generation and track progress. Well, the list is quite long, but thank you, Mande Andrew. Mande Andrew is BK Sacco manager in Bundibujo. This is very well said. We appreciate your contribution. Another one says, good morning, Chantal and the guest. It was such a dark day after that tragedy. My heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased, friends, and the country at large. My humble request to the government is to start stopping people occupying such risky areas. Then fine, they might have settled before that dumping site, but still government, if it recognizes the area as a dumping spot, why would they just look at people settling around increasingly? Such areas should be reserved by government, and government in its capacity is capable of relocating these people and ring fencing such places. Lastly, even sensitizing our locals, first of all, about the dangers of our poor disposal, because such tragedies are some of the repercussions. Secondly, about the dangers of settling around such places. This is Cricket Derek Gagamel from Makindye Luafo. Thank you so much, Derek. You always have good views to share. Now, Wanyela Evans from Luakaka, our country is seriously facing the problem of plastic bags. Can our country ban the use of plastic material like several countries in East Africa, like Kenya and Rwanda, I add? Well, that is it from the comments that we had this morning. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. And Dr. Jibril, as we are closing, what would be your parting shot, your last remark? One, to the Ugandans, but also to the bodies that are ideally charged with ensuring proper waste management.
Well, let the authorities sit down in the boardroom, discuss and come up with final decisions on implementing these alternative ways of managing wastes.
Right.
For us, we are available for all meetings. The government or the local people are well sensitized. We have the Minister of Science and Technology. We have innovators here in Uganda who are making briquettes, and they only need support. They have their ideas ready.
Right.
We have paper bag makers. So it's a matter of supporting these communities. Let's set up priorities at the country that we say, before we implement this, is it really necessary at this time? What should we consider first? You get it?
Right.
So that we can balance what the community needs and what we need at the government level. Otherwise, thank you very much to communities, and whatever you are doing towards environmental protection is highly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Right. That was Dr. Jibril Semakula Owomugisha, who works with the Ministry of Water and Environment, but also the founding director of Million Trees International Organization Greening Uganda campaign. And we've been having a conversation on sustainable waste management and also alternative ways we can make sure that such occurrences do not happen again. Please note that death toll rose from 21 to 23 as we speak, and the unfortunate bit is we are still discovering and getting more information, and it's likely that there could be more bodies down there or buried down there, which is still on a sad note. Well, that is it for the newsreel this morning. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Coming up is Tourism Express with Irene Allen Namisango. Stick around.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, Kingdoms of Mountain Rwenzori segment. What are the dynamics of the peoples occupying the foothills of the famous mountains of the moon? What brings them together?
One way of identifying ourselves would be the Rwenzori Mountain,
where the God happy dwells.
In Uganda, we are called Bakonjo, Bakonzo, Baira. In Congo, we are called Banande.
Ababuisa barukiro wingi, na abamba barukiro wingi, bali mu Congo.
The Basongora community is a very old community here, Western Uganda and Eastern Congo.
So both Kasese, Toro, were part of Nyoro Kitara Kingdom.
We are similar people.
We are one. Use that word, Pamoja.
It will be showing in Nibundubugyo at Anders Hotel on Friday 16th August and Kasese at Uhuru Plus Hotel on Saturday 17th August 2024, starting at 4:30 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange, haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
Kangendeyo kati.
Weda yangu wa.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you so much for sticking around. My name is Irene Alena Misango, and this is the GMU Tourism Express, the time that we are always talking about everything that you need to know about Uganda's tourism. Now, the sector is really picking up. I won't stop saying this, that the sector is really picking up with the small efforts that we are all putting up. We are putting up a building block to see that we together promote Uganda's tourism. Now, something beautiful today is that today is the International Youth Day. And today we are celebrating the youths in all the different sectors, the efforts that the youths are putting up. We are recognizing the energies that the youths are putting up to see that they promote all the sectors that are running the world. And in Uganda today, this being the GMU Tourism Express, I want to commend the work that the youths are really doing. Remember, the tourism sector is a people industry, and it is currently so much running on the digital space. And I'm telling you people, the youth are really doing an amazing job. When you go to the different social media platforms, you go to TikTok, you go to X, you go to Facebook, Instagram, the youths are really promoting Uganda's tourism, and I commend every youth who is doing this amazing job, and also some that have done some startups like tour companies, other blogs. Please keep on doing this beautiful job, keep on doing this beautiful work. You are doing amazing to see that we position Uganda as a universally acceptable tourism destination. Well, today in the travel news, what transpired last week in the tourism sector, last week the Uganda Wildlife Authority disbursed over 3.1 billion Ugandan shillings to the districts that are neighboring the Maction Falls protected area. Now, this is one of the ways that the government of Uganda is showing commitment to support the communities that are neighboring the protected areas, because when you look at the protected areas that we have, most of the districts and communities that are neighboring them, they are also doing an amazing job to see that we conserve and protect the wildlife that we have in Uganda. So it was a plus, or it was a good move for the government of Uganda to see that they are really committed to supporting these communities that are surrounding these national parks. And this event took place at the Noya district headquarters, and it was presided by the Minister of Tourism, that is Honorable Tom Butime, and he also stipulated more about the roles of the local communities in protecting the protected areas. So that was a plus, and some of the districts that benefited were Noya district, Bolisa, Pakwachi, Chiliadongo. So many districts benefited, 6 of them, and that was a plus. And I'm very sure if the funds reach the communities, also the communities or the community members are going to be able to embrace tourism, because they feel that they are attached to it and they are also benefiting from these protected areas. That is it that we heard from Noya district. And now, also last week, the third Uganda Kenya Coast Tourism Conference was launched, and this is the 3rd edition, and this conference is there to ensure the relationship we have between Uganda and Kenya, especially the coast part of the Kenyan country, to see that we promote the relationship, we promote tourism together. I should say that Kenya, in terms of promoting its tourism, it is way far better than Uganda. And when you look at the numbers of tourists that come into Uganda and Kenya, the numbers there is really a very big difference. So if Uganda is leveraging on Kenya to see that we also promote the beautiful and unique things that we have in Uganda that you cannot find in Kenya, that is a plus. Because just imagine if you start marketing Uganda, you come to Uganda to see the gorillas, you come to Uganda to see the source of the Nile, you see the Rwenzori, then after you go to Kenya to relax, maybe at Diani, some of the beaches in Mombasa, it could be a very beautiful itinerary that it combines wildlife and maybe some bit of relaxation. But also we need to understand that as we are marketing this conference, it also comes with different dynamics. Now look maybe at if there is any maybe instability in Kenya, it will also directly affect Uganda's tourism. But it is a plus. We always have to look at the positive side of the story, what comes out. So that is also a plus. And this is set to happen on the 20th and 21st of November at Peak Resort Munyonyo. Now, what usually happens is that when the conference happens, there are days when it is held in Uganda and also days when it is held in Kenya. So we get influencers from Kenya to come and explore what we have in Uganda, but also in turn, Uganda sends off some tour operators to Kenya, to the coast, to see what the Kenyan coast has. So it is set to happen in November. You can look out to the pages of Uganda Tourism Board, pages of Ministry of Tourism, and get more information about this coast if you're interested in exhibiting, maybe being a visitor, or even attending the conference. So you can look out for all the information and you're able to know more about this conference and how we can benefit. Still more beautiful news that came in last week from Wind Impenetrable National Park. A new baby mountain gorilla was born last week. This is good news to us because remember, mountain gorillas are one of the most unique, or even the unique selling points that we have in Uganda's tourism. So if we have the numbers increasing, it is a plus for us. Remember, Wind Impenetrable National Park is the biggest destination where you can do mountain gorilla trekking in Africa, actually in the whole world. So it has 4 regions, and this new baby gorilla was born in Rushaga region to an adult female gorilla called Monini. So this baby gorilla came in as a 4th baby to Monini, and he became a 4th individual to the Nshonji group in Rushaga region. That was a plus, and we are very happy, and all the pluses or the bonuses go to Uganda Wildlife Authority and other organizations that are really making sure that they provide a very convenient environment that is good for the reproduction of these mountain gorillas. Remember, at one time they were endangered. Actually, even now they are still endangered species, but with the collective efforts from Uganda Wildlife Authority, Ministry of Tourism, and other NGOs that are working together or closely to see that they protect these mountain gorillas, it is a plus that we keep on getting different babies being born, and the numbers keep on increasing every day and all the time in Bwindi Impenetrable National Park and Mugahinga National Park. So if you really, or if you ever dreamt of having a gorilla trekking experience, I think these are one of the perfect times that you need to come and experience these baby gorillas jumping from one tree to another, from one branch to another. It is beautiful to watch. It is a spectacular scene. Still in the news, last week on Saturday, it was the it was the World Lions Day, and this day comes in to create more awareness or to show us the lions' plight, to protect them more, because remember, these are one of the most critical and most beautiful animals we have in the country, though in the world actually. But it is sad that in the recent years the numbers have dropped by almost 43%. So there is need for us to protect these animals, to create more awareness why we really need to see that we protect these animals. And we see that, remember, the lion is the king of the jungle, so there is need for us to protect them. And we have, it would be sad in years to come and we are only telling our grandchildren that yes, we had lions in the jungle, we had the kings of the jungle, when they are no more to be seen. So there is need, and it calls for everyone to create awareness to see that we protect the lions in the wild and conserve them for the future. Well, that is it that we had for you from the travel news. And now we go into an interesting section of the segment, and that is the travel attraction of the day. Now today we are going to talk about something that is very close to everyone. I think everyone has passed by this place, everyone has seen this place, everyone knows this place, but I bet you've been to this place to visit it, and that is Kasubi Tombs. So Kasubi Tombs is a place that is located just here within Kampala in Kasubi. I know everyone should be knowing Kasubi who stays in Kampala. It is a burial place, and it is one of the most significant cultural sites that we have in the country. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but what makes it unique? This place is a burial ground for 4 kings. It was established in 1952 as a palace by Kabaka Mutesa I. So for him, he set up a palace at Kasubi. But after his demise in around 1882, he had made a will to be buried in his palace. So the palace became now a tomb. That is where he was buried. He was the first king who was buried there. But from that time, his proceedings, Kabaka Mwanga II, Kabaka Daudi Chwa II, and Kabaka Edward Mutesa II, who was also the first president of Uganda, were all buried in this ground. So it is a beautiful place, but it also keeps a lot of heritage. It is said, history has it, that Kabaka Mutesa I had over 80 wives and concubines, and all these people, all these wives stayed around Kasubi tombs. So there are other houses that are in the same shape as the tombs, but around the tombs. But what also makes this place stand out, it is the largest, or it is the biggest grass-thatched dome that we have in the world. That is what even makes it to be listed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So when you come here, you look at the way the Ganda architecture, you look at the grass using reeds, using wood, and also the designs that they had. When you enter inside, there are some designs that Kabaka Mutesa I came up with, that they are never changed. Even if there are renovations, even if there are some changes, those designs are not touched. They were constructed in 1852. And you see, this is living heritage that we need to explore, that we need to learn. If you're Ugandan and you've not been to this place, you need to go. But also what makes it amazing, the oral stories that are told here make the place real living, because what they're telling you, you're experiencing it. But you need to know that some of the places here are not, maybe the females are not allowed in some places now, like the tombs. You might find that there you're not allowed, but there is a lot of history that is interesting here. I remember when I went there early this year, I found that one of the oldest guardmen for the king, he was there, even he's making 100 years actually this year, and he gives you those beautiful stories from way back, from Kabaka Mutesa, telling you about Kabaka Mwanga. It is amazing to be here and you explore this place. So find time, go explore the Kasubi tombs and learn more about Uganda's history. Remember, Uganda is one of the oldest kingdoms in Africa. You need to know more about its history and its cultural heritage. Well, that is it that we had for you from the travel attraction. And now the travel tip for you as you're coming for any trip in Uganda or any other place where you're going to tour. Please make sure that you do some research about the traditions and beliefs of the different cultures of where you're going to visit. Now let's say Kasubi tombs. You're not supposed to visit them as a lady when you're putting on trousers. So those are some of the things that you need to know. Make some research so that when you go, you're not in a culture shock when you reach that place. Thank you so much for watching. That is it that we had for you. My name is Irene Alena Misango, and Chantal is already here to take you through the business update.
Well, thank you for sticking with us. It's time for us to speak matters business. And well, if you are someone that is an affiliate to the refugees, or you've been affected by the refugee crisis in the country, now Uganda gets about 13.3 billion Uganda shillings, and this is in a bid to help with the refugee crisis. Now, according to the records from the official records, that is under the Office of the Prime Minister, Japan has contributed over $22 million US, that is about 81.5 billion, through different UN agencies. And in this case, we are seeing Uganda receiving, through a memorandum of understanding with the United Nations Women and Japanese Embassy, about 3.6 million US dollars, totaling to 13.3 billion Uganda shillings, and this will be to bolster security and to to bolster security and peace, and this is in the country that has about 13 refugee settlements, and these are nearly home of about 1.7 million Ugandans. And well, that is something that will be helping to strengthen the support for women and peace building in these areas between the refugees and the host communities, a challenge that has been witnessed over time, and also help reducing things like sexual and gender-based violence, especially in these communities that we are talking about. Now, please do note that this provision is targeting to train and skill about 11,000 individuals, and this is going to be in the districts of Adjumani, Yumbe, Madi, Okolo, Isinjiro, and Chegegwa, and these happen to be the districts that have different settlements. Now, these districts are the ones that will be hosting the significant number of refugees, and these primarily come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Some come from South Sudan, and others come from Eritrea, Somalia, among others, especially the countries that are in the neighboring, that are in the neighborhood or neighboring us, and that is what is going to be happening in these districts, and we are hoping for the very best out of this initiative. Now, moving on, there is a construction that is taking place, and this construction is going to be costing about 740 billion Uganda shillings, and this is a cement factory that is starting in Buikwe district. Now, government says it is going to work closely with the company to see that both skilled and unskilled youth in Buikwe district are prioritized for employment, but also the conversation still goes further to say that much as you're employing these youth of ours, do not mistreat them. It is believed and said that most of these international companies that come to do investments in the country and constructions, they usually do not treat well the individuals, especially the casual laborers, the skilled and unskilled labor that come to work for them. And well, this has been highlighted, and we hope for the best news. Now, the construction of a $200 million, which is about 740 billion Uganda shillings cement factory, covers about 50 acres, and this was in Buikwe district. It has already commenced. Now, the Chinese-owned West International Holdings Limited will invest about the 730 million shillings in Kavule Cell, Buziba B Ward, Nyenga Division, Njeru Municipality, and this is after a similar amount was invested in Karamoja Sub-Region. The group director, Ambrose Biona, said this was during the groundbreaking ceremony that took place on the 10th of August, which was a few days ago. Now, according to Biona, says for the first establishment, the factory in Moroto district, whose commissioning is expected in July 2025, is because of availability of raw materials like limestone that were being imported for the product of clinker cement. And on the other hand, Buikwe was selected for a similar undertaking because of its geographical location and presence of water and railway transport. And this factory is going to support markets like the markets in the central, like Kampala areas, Mwanza in Tanzania, Mujingo in Kenya, and they also want to use the railway to transport these products to avoid wearing out of the road by loaded trucks, and this is according to the director, Biona. He also added that the construction of the plant, which is expected to directly employ about 1,800 workers and produce about 4,000 tons of cement per day, will last about 12 months, and the community will get a health center 3 and a school. But I guess these are the perks of such developments coming to your areas. Now, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, that is Peter Lucaris, said people of Buikwe district are going to benefit from the factory in very many ways, and the nation can only develop through industrialization, and such initiatives bring community with other regions in the country, and that is according to the highlight. Now, according to the State Minister for Gender and Labor and Social Development in charge of youth, that is Balam, he revealed that his office will work closely with the company to see that both skilled and unskilled youth in Buikwe district are prioritized for employment, but further goes ahead and says Further, the Njeri Municipality Mayor, that is Yasin Chaze, asked the company not to exploit people they are going to employ, like most factories in Njeri Municipality that are doing the same, and such conduct can cost factories negatively in the public domain, and hopefully we see different with this very factory. Now, that is it for our stories, our business stories this morning. Let's cross over onto the Forex, and this is how we were standing by closure of business last week. And please do note that this is courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. Now, by close of business last week, that was the dollar was buying at 3,721, selling at 3,731. The Great Britain pound was closed at 4,747, while selling at 4,760. The euro was buying at 4,063.68 shillings, while selling at 4,074.60 shillings. The Kenyan shilling was selling at 28.79, while selling at 28.86. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.37 shillings, while selling at 1.38. And the South African rand was buying at 202.77 shillings, while selling at 203.31. And that is as of last week on Friday. But well, tomorrow Sonko will be here to give us what would have happened today. But if you are thinking of trading, for now, this is the range within which we are working, courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. And well, that is it for our business news this morning. Stay tuned for the traffic updates. Being a Monday, you know what happens. Usually Monday is mad with some good amount of traffic. So let's see how we are faring this morning. Well, it would be worse if we were having the Youth Day celebrations in Kampala. They're happening in Soroti, so you are slightly safe. But then again, it does not help, because as I'm looking at the Wampeo Clock Tower, it is mad with a lot of traffic. And if you're coming from the Kampala Jinja Highway, you brace yourself for some good sitting on the very same route, because you'll be finding a lot of traffic, especially after you have moved past the junction that has First Street. That is where jam gets terrible. But onto the before that, on the Kampala Jinja Highway, there is no traffic. Actually, if you're going to First Street, when you branch off after the slow movement, you'll be finding no traffic. But if you move past the First Street junction or branch off and proceed onto the Kampala Jinja Highway, you'll be meeting a lot of traffic. Now, into the very roundabout, you'll be finding a lot of traffic. You who is trying to join the roundabout coming from Jinja Road, and you who is using Port Bell Road, you'll be finding a bit of slow movement. But inside Port Bell Road, you'll be finding a little bit of a hold up, though later on, you'll be finding no traffic whatsoever. So if you can branch off and avoid any traffic and use Old Port Bell Road, why not? I highly recommend. Now, Wampeo Avenue is mad with traffic, especially for you who is trying to join the Wampeo Clock Tower. Definitely, because you're as if coming to town, you'll be finding slow movement and a lot of traffic inside there. But you who is exiting the roundabout onto Wampeo Avenue, you'll be finding no traffic and only just a few holdups in the middle there, and especially because of the roads that branch off, and for those who are joining in and getting out, this is where you'll be finding traffic. But short of that, there is no traffic for you who is onto Wampeo Avenue trying to connect to the lower Kololo Terrace, or even trying to connect to to the upper Kololo Terrace, you'll be finding no traffic. But York Terrace is mad with with some slow movement, and especially if you're closing into that junction that has the lights that take you to Wampeo Avenue and take you to the upper Kololo Terrace. Impala Avenue has no traffic. Roscoe Road, no traffic. If these are access routes you can use, I definitely recommend that you use them because they seem to be okay to move. Now, Lugogo Bypass has no traffic. You'll only be finding slow movement and also a bit of a hold up, especially because of the lights. But if you are coming from Naguru Road, trying to join Lugogo Bypass, you'll be finding too much traffic on there. That is definitely because you're trying to join the main road and you've been using an access route, so you'll be finding traffic. Short of that, Lugogo Bypass has no traffic at all. Mviri Lane has no traffic, and Malcolm X Avenue as well seems to be okay for you to use. Kasozi Road is okay for you to use. You'll be finding no traffic at all. And I'm trying now to get back to Ginger Road. Ginger Road has no traffic, but if you're exiting town trying to join the Ginger Road lights, you'll be finding a bit of a hold up on there. But then again, Yusufule Road has no traffic, though the junction, the roundabout that has Nile Avenue has some slow movement, but if you proceed onto Yusufule Road, there is no traffic at all. Nile Avenue has no traffic. And for you who is exiting the roundabout, the upper roundabout that has Nile Avenue, slow movement, but after that, there is nothing for you to worry about. You are safe as you are trying to make your way to town. Now, Kimathi Avenue has traffic for those that work around that area. Parliamentary Avenue, no traffic at all. Kampala Road has no traffic at the moment, but I can't guarantee that it's going to be the same thing a few minutes from now. And that leads us to the end of our traffic updates this morning. Coming up is Good Morning Uganda agenda. Stay with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, Kingdoms of Mountain Rwenzori segment. What are the dynamics of the peoples occupying the foothills of the famous mountains of the moon? What brings them together?
One way of identifying ourselves would be the Rwenzori Mountain,
where the God happy dwells.
In Uganda, we are called Bakonjo, Bakonzo, Baira. In Congo, we are called Banande.
Ababuisa barukiro bwingi n'abamba barukiro bwingi bali mu Congo.
The Basongora community is a very old community here, Western Uganda and Eastern Congo.
So both Kasese, Toro were part of Nyoro Kitara Kingdom.
We are similar people.
We are one. Use that word, pamoja.
It will be showing in Nibundubugyo at Anders Hotel on Friday 16th August and Kasese at Uhuru Plus Hotel on Saturday 17th August 2024, starting at 4:30 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
I'm Dr. Sandy Nixon. I'm the economist of PDM Parish Development Model, who sits at the Secretariat, and I'm in charge of pillar number 4, which is social services, and also Ediamfuna, which we call economics. So far, so good. As PDM, we come closer to the people, and that's its purpose, that bring service closer to the communities. Therefore, we made sure we come closer to the people. I myself, we came to know that these people are in need, mostly in Natet parish, because of the various activities they are doing. Therefore, we engaged them, and we had to call also other partners to come in to support, mostly on mindset. Yes, to change their mind from what they are doing to come up and they do what is right, mostly for economic transformation. Briefly about Natet, that the leaders of the parish, both political and the parish development model, are so innovative, and they have that will.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso, every Wednesday live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, happy International Youth Day to all the youth out there, and of course the many Ugandans, because at one time you've ever been a youth. Today we have a term also known as the ghetto youth. Also happy International Youth Day to that category. Youths in this country are divided. We have those that I'm having on this panel this morning, and then there are those in the informal sector, those in the ghettos. We can't forget you, because even recently His Excellency of the Republic of Uganda met you in Kololo and put money in the various circles that you're having. So we treasure you, you mean a lot to this country, and more so day by day you're becoming the majority. So happy International Youth Day. Join me, welcome the guests I have on this panel, as we are going to be discussing the impact of youth on national development. Now, I'm humbled and honored to have Amanya Belinda, who happens to be the Speaker of the East African Youth Parliament and Vice Chair of the European Union Youth, that is Sounding Board. You're most welcome.
Thank you, honored to be here once again.
And on the extreme end, I have a young lad, very passionate about the political terrain of this country and following so much that is happening. I've voiced a number of youth, and I'm told also has plans to join the political arena of this country come 2026. That is Kwiringira Derek, all the way from Chisoro, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Welcome and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to our viewers. My name is Derek Kwilinjila, as you just introduced me. I'm from Fumbila South, Kisoro District. Thank you.
Now, I want to begin, first of all, understanding. Yesterday is International Youth Day. Our very own Sonko is in Soroti, where we shall have the main celebrations, and he will be giving us a picture of the environment and, of course, a number of interviews. And remember, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation will be ensuring that as events unfold, you can watch, you can follow, you can see them at the comfort of your office, your home, your hospital bed, wherever you are, we come to you. And more so, we are also on various social media platforms, so you can watch us any time of your convenience. Let's begin by understanding or defining, according to Uganda, Belinda, who is a youth? When we talk about this person, youth.
When we look at the definition that is given to us for the context of Uganda, it is anyone between the ages of 18 to 35. You're allowed to be a youth if you lie in those. But also, well, if our constitution goes ahead to tell us that for purposes of work and where you need to be supported as a child and you need to work, perhaps you may start from around 16 and not 18. And so you get to realize that it is in that range. And by those ranges, we look at the active youth that are really on bare soil ground. But then also the other age ranges from 0 to 35 would also lie under the youth. But if we are to look at the structural youth that are actively engaged in building the nation or in systems that are able to promote the growth of the nation, then you may look from around 16 to 35 or 18 to 35. But then the others will be represented by this other age category. But simply that could be the definition of the youth in Uganda.
So we can't have a permanent youth. You can't permanently be a youth. Even if you try to remain one, once you clock 35, then you've ceased to be a youth. Now, this takes me to Derek. When we talk about a youth in Uganda, because we want to see their impact on national development, how best can you describe a Ugandan youth?
As my sisters also explained.
In terms of age, on average, tell us who are the youth. I've just given in my opening remarks that we have the youth like you. They have gone to school, some have jobs, and we have another category. Those I saw once His Excellency meet at Kororo. Some were even taking weed during the meeting. So, paint a picture to us. Who is a Ugandan youth?
For us in Uganda, we understand the youth are those on the between 18 and 35. However, now it is actually people think even before 40. If someone who's over 40 years is also a youth, because to me, I think anyone who is a young adult is a youth.
Well, I'll pose the same question to Belinda. Maybe I'll get what I want.
Yes.
Belinda, paint for us a picture. Who is a Ugandan youth?
If we are to be ideal and try to look into a Ugandan youth today, one, they're defined by one of the most outstanding is the economical incapacitation.
Good.
Which also comes from a point of unemployment and the fact that, because when you look at statistics, they show you that about 1.4 million youth turn 18 each and every year. So if we're having at that number, get into the youth bracket. And when we look at the labor survey also showing us that they're not able to accumulate all of us. And so you get to see that they're challenged with questions like unemployment and survival. And then also when we look at representation and participation in certain spheres of governance and leadership, they are the category of Ugandans that are still striving and trying to push for their voices to be heard and for their relevance to be tabled and given visibility in a country they live in. So briefly, those are the specific things that are coming out or highlighted when we talk about the description of youth. But also we have, as you had said, we have the ghetto youth, but we also have the studied and the unstudied, those that are in villages and those that are in urban. But then statistics show that those in urban areas are more unemployed than those in villages. I think simply because those in villages perhaps have access to agriculture and are able to get their hands busy. But in a small sneak, that could be the picture of Ugandan youth today.
Well, thank you for the true definition of our Ugandan youth. Now, this is the person that today people are gathering in Soroti to celebrate this kind of youth. Now, I'll go back to Derek. When we talk about this youth that Belinda has described very well, what are the challenges facing this youth?
Youth face a number of challenges in this country, not only in Uganda but globally. Lack of opportunities, which are limited because if you look at different institutions sending people to the market, the nature of or education or the quality of education, where the institutions are teaching, actually are providing more theoretical skills than practical skills. So youth find a challenge in meeting the international requirements or job opportunity requirements. So a youth, until we participate in governance and leadership, our issues cannot be addressed. We have a challenge also that we are discriminated. When it comes to leadership and governance, they think we cannot manage. But when it comes to technology, they want us to lead them. So the challenges that are facing youth are very many. And when you look at our country, Uganda, youth, for us we take youth as people who are lazy, who don't want to work, but these people want to work. Only that the opportunities are limited.
Now, let me get you properly, Derek. One, you said youth have been discriminated in leadership. We have affirmative action, where at every electoral process in this country, our youth is represented, right from LC1 up to Parliament. We have a young, beautiful lady here. There is even an East Africa. We have, I don't know how many youth parliaments we have.
We also have national.
We have national. So politically, with a special slot that I can't contest for, but you can contest for. That is one representation. When we talk about the economy, government of Uganda has come up with a number of initiatives, and each of them, there's something tailor-made for the youth. For example, youth livelihood program, the parish development model, there's a specific percentage that has to go to the youth. Talk about any government program, the youth are given a special slot. There's something ring-fenced for the youth. Now, justify what you're telling us.
We have had many programs, different initiatives. The challenge we have, it's not that because I think we are weak when it comes to monitoring and evaluation. We have had different programs to help Ugandans, but why do they fail? We must understand that we have failed to monitor these programs. We had in Tandikwa, Bonabagagawale, PDMs, now Youth Livelihood Program. So, me, I always tell my people, when you have it like a house and you see the wall developing some cracks, you don't change the color of the paint or the type of the paint. Instead, you have to look for the cause of that crack. Why have these other programs failed? And if we go to the ground, are these people? How do these people easily access these funds? And are these people trained enough? Because these people are going to receive these funds and divert them somewhere. Like someone can even now develop a plan of marrying or wedding because he has received free money. So I think we have to go to the ground, evaluate the impact of these programs. But we shall just assume that since we gave people money, it is helping them, and yet it's not helping them. So, in order to have the program succeed, we shouldn't wait, sit in the offices. We should move to the ground, understand what are the problems. Sometimes we make errors in problem identification. We think maybe the challenge of people, like for instance in Fumbira South, you may think that people are unemployed because maybe they have not gone to school. These people have gone to school. But the opportunities, these people would wish to work. That's why we are having many people going abroad to earn a living, not because the situation or the working environment outside there is conducive, but because they have no any other alternative, they move to these countries to work. So, trying to explain or answering your question, youth programs, actually we should also look at why these other programs have succeeded in different countries. Like the Youth Can initiative in Rwanda, because these people are given much time, these people are trained enough. But in Uganda, we only have to change different, from this program to another program, from this program to another program. We must understand why have others failed in order to have others succeed. Thank you.
Well, Belinda, I just want to get your view on the various government programs that have been put in place to ensure that they eliminate or reduce the poverty levels amongst the youth. What is your view of these programs?
I do believe that the programs that have been put into place are good. They are competent. However, when we get to structural and real ground challenges, for example, we have said we have youth that are studied and those that are not studied. So, for example, let's try to break down the PDM. So, PDM comes on board and they say there's a 30% that is allocated to youth. But then how do youth get access to the 30%? It is, you do not just wake up and go and say, I'm claiming my 30%. You need to be in an organized structure. You need to have, let's say, a circle where this money is going to be put. And then we assess how many youth have been given the capacity or have been enlightened and taught on how to structurize or put into place proper functional circles. And so now that becomes a problem because this opportunity is there, but then because there is lack of information, there is an information gap. So we have a category of youth that are not benefiting from that. And what do those people do? They now pour into the level of unemployment. We go to the skills programs that the government has put into place. We have skills programs that have been put into place. There's skilling, and you know, they keep on graduating and graduating, lot after lot. But then the question is, where are they going? We have had so many skilling programs that have been put into place for the youth. You're being taught welding, weaving, embroidery, and
actually,
so
even this year's theme is very clear. Skills development for enhancement of youth opportunities.
But then when we are skilling and not preparing, or maybe giving them leeway where to go after, then at one point, we're just making them more devastated. Yesterday, this is just kind of like a joke. I was listening to one of the musicians, I saw a small clip, and he was saying, I'll say it in Luganda as he said it, he said, osoma degree esooka. Netulowooza olina amagezi ne tukutya nnyo noddayo osoma ey'okubiri kati naffe abasiro ne twewuunya kweri oli mugezi, because why are you continuing to seek knowledge? But then the more we now get to provide let's say avenues for skilling and job enhancement, yet we do not create the jobs, then we leave them incapacitated. And this is what now happens. We have so many skilled youth, but where are they going to work from? And then now for today's theme, we just hope that our representatives that are representing us through the National Youth Council today will get to highlight things like maybe we need a loan scheme for these people. The way we have an education scheme, if you've trained them, perhaps give them capital and access to land. Can we have government lease off, let's say, land in certain areas and say, this is for the youth, be doing something toward the Ntandikwa, you'll start from here and then grow. And then we also say, okay, can we provide avenues or laws? We are glad we saw the law on procurement that is also favoring the youth. So how do we create more avenues for us to get to expose and put into use the skillings? So various government programs have been into place. They're good, but then the problem is how do we get access to information, to those things that have been given to us? How do we understand them? How do we get into them? Because, for example, with PDM, I will not walk a 1 Belinda with my fellow other 10 and just go there. Is your circle functional? What are you doing? So because of those some bureaucratic tendencies, you find which most of the youth do not have information to, they lead to the failure of such good programs. However, government is trying and doing their level best. We need to see how do we actualize and break down these things to see that.
I love the fact that you bring out skills. You know, a person who is skilled and cannot apply the skills is worse off than one who doesn't have the skills.
True. They're all the same.
And even if someone did plumbing, you still need those machines to work. Even if one did carpentry, you still need those machines to be able to work. So when you talk about a loan scheme, I see that as a very brilliant idea to ensure that these youth can put into practice away from their training areas where they have these skills. Now, this takes me to Derek. She has well articulated the challenges in these government programs. But let's also look at one of the other interesting issues that we find. We know government cannot employ so many people, not even the developed world does. But today we are seeing many youth looking into politics as an avenue of survival. Some have begun on the wrong note and they have not even got to their destination. Others have succeeded and they are doing well. Let's look at youth in national development in the political arena.
Thank you. If at all you want to have something done, you must participate. If you have to wait for others to do everything for you, then you don't know what you want. Youth are coming up to participate in politics because they want to be included in policy making processes. So, however, to me, I think if youth are involved in leadership or governance, then they have a voice. For instance, we have a parliament actually we have 500 plus member of parliament. Then, if you look at youth representatives in parliament, we have 4 regions in Uganda. So that means we have 8, if I'm not mistaken, 8 youth representatives in parliament. So, when it comes to passing or enacting policies, it's all about numbers in voting. So, for that, like, according to me, I think we need to increase the number of youth representatives in parliament in order to have our voices heard or our concerns being addressed. So,
when we talk about having numbers, so far let's analyze. At every electoral level, we have a youth representative. Is it numbers or is it ability to articulate, present, convince, lobby the powers that be to forward issues of the youth? And I want to get this from you, Belinda.
I would like to say that I think it goes to powers to lobby. Because if we talk about representation, we can say, we can try to get it out, because honestly with democracy, not everyone can be in parliament. And the more we keep pushing more people to parliament, then at the end of the day, we fail to even hold them accountable. Because one of the challenges we are also seeing today is the increase of numbers of parliament. We think they should be reduced. Let us have...
Where each is given 3 minutes on the floor.
3 minutes on the floor. So which kind of discussion is going to be
tabled? And a day out of the 500, if at least 200 attend, you won't even have 10% of those deliberating the 3 minutes.
And so at the end of the day, we have a forest of them, but impact is just very, very minimal. So I don't think the question, I don't think we need more of them. We need less of them, those we can easily hold accountable. But then also now let us analyze the youth leaders we have. One of the major challenges as youth we have come to see is that when we elect youth leaders, they come with a voice of, we want to support youth because it is regional based. But at the end of the day, you get to realize they start to see their next seats. Which next seats are the political offices of their districts? So it comes from a person who came with a regional perspective. They now go individual and say, I want to come and represent the people of my district. And at the end of the day, they now narrow their scope of advocacy to, I'll only focus my guns to my district area. And at the end of the day, as youth, we are complaining, where is our representation? Who is advocating for us? But then the so-called, some of the youth leaders we put into office are now going specific and in an, I'd like to almost call it maybe selfish. Because if a mass sent you, then why only focus on one? So now you find those are also challenges that we are having when it gets to representation. For example, look at the question of the medical interns we are having. We are having a high number of medical interns that are not being given internship placement. Now, such youth, their hands are tied. You cannot proceed in your career as a medic without the internship. We wait for our youth representatives to make more noise, make it more popular on the floor of parliament, because this issue has been there since November, since some time back. Have we seen them be vigilant, be able to keep on saying, no, this is a pressing issue, put it forth, and stand for the views of the young people? We have not seen that vigilance. And at the end of the day, it is, perhaps we have a problem with the nature of the people we are choosing, or maybe there is like a fox or a disease in parliament that whoever enters, they somehow forget and get hoodwinked. And so at the end of the day, they come up with issues of, let's say, budget and all. But then if we're having deputy RDCs in districts and there's a budget allocated to them, why do we fail to have a budget allocated for an increase in the budget allocated for the intern doctors to be, let's say, admitted? So I do think the problem is not having
the numbers.
More. I think it's not a problem of numbers, because with numbers we fail. Too many cooks spoil the broth. I don't think we need more numbers. I think we just need people who have a heart of leadership, people who are able to understand the role for which they're brought to parliament and serve the interests of the people they are representing, because it is honest truth. We all cannot flock parliament. We all cannot be in parliament. And then also we talked about an issue of many youth running to parliament. It is because of high levels of unemployment. The only place they think there is
youth, you've chosen parliament, no, you've chosen politics as a career. Yet it should be a service.
Now, the problem is we have no other gateway. For example, an intern doctor or an intern, a medical student who has finished, there is no internship for you. Where are you going to go? So you decide and say, so if I contest for maybe a youth representative of my region or something of the sort, I will get employment. I'll be able to fend for myself. Perhaps I've been educated on a loan scheme. I'll be able to pay back the loan scheme because I need where to start from. So at the end of the day, everything has been monetized. We see an opportunity to work and get employed in every aspect. That is why you see so many youth flocking or flooding the political section. It is because we are unemployed and we're looking for ways of survival, and because over time, leadership in Uganda has proven as a game changer for many. When you get into leadership, your financial background and status changes, you get financially empowered, you can enhance your dreams, and so it is becoming like a place everyone yearns to go to. Those with good reasons and those that are just yearning to just get some money into their pockets. And that is how bad the situation is going.
I'm happy that for one time I found someone who can really speak things right as they are, that yes, the truth why we are seeing a number of young people rushing into politics is because, you know, one, it is highly paying. Two, they may not see other alternatives as of monetary value as that. Well, just remind you, in case you have just joined, today's International Youth Day, and the main celebrations are in Soroti District, where our very own Jerome Paul Sonko is already there and will be giving us a feedback and creating that picture, taking us actually to the venue and Soroti to follow and enjoy the celebrations. Now, I'll go back to Derek. Derek, this issue of celebrations, I'm not against celebrating. This is not the first time. Government spends a whole lots of money to organize such events as youth. What has been the impact of these big celebrations? I hope and believe His Excellency will be the chief guest there, or he will delegate because he's expected to be. Have these been of an impact? Yes, it was designed by the United Nations, UN, but we celebrate this every year. And we still have, it seems, the same problems facing the youth, yet all stakeholders and people that matter come at these venues to deliberate and have these wonderful speeches.
Thank you. It is very important to celebrate International Youth Day because we need to highlight their contributions towards the development of our country, or not only in Uganda but also globally. Actually, before I talk about the importance of celebrating this important day, I will first defend my point. I didn't mean that we need to send more youth or create more constituencies so that we can be represented, or increasing the numbers of in parliament. But I meant we need at least to allow these old people in parliament. We replace them with young, able and willing youth. So, back to your question. By celebrating this International Day, we are trying to recognize the contribution that are brought by youth towards social, economic and political development in the whole world. If you look at different sectors, let it be education, let it be health, we can see youth has done a lot to improve service delivery, production, where now digital marketing has helped people to access market and improve also production. For instance, in our neighbor country, Tanzania, the youth, the agri-tech initiative and environmental sustainability, we have to recognize that it was the strength of youth in Tanzania that even young farmers are given these practical techniques. This has helped to grow the economy, the agriculture sector in Tanzania. If you look at Rwanda, the Youth Can initiative, it has contributed to the reconciliation where young people meet. You know, Rwanda was affected by genocide.
Let me get you very clearly, Derek. When we are looking at issues of the impact of youth and national development, And we want to analyze, have these celebrations really helped to bring out the challenges, the plight of these young people? Have they been of any benefit? Are they in tandem with what actually government puts in? I think that was the question to you.
Yes, I got your point. During these celebrations, I said, we are trying to highlight their contributions, recognize their contributions. Then, during these events, people express or present their challenges. So, the president of Uganda is going to be there. So, that means he's going to understand what are the challenges being faced by these youth, and in order to find solution to their challenges or address their concerns. So, to me, I think these events or celebrations, they are very important to the country, because if they are not given the platform or a chance to be heard, then I think the challenges cannot be addressed by the country.
Belinda, when such days happen, do we have a follow-up? Do we see, you've been around on the political scene, analyzing very instrumental matters of the youth. Do you really feel that these celebrations have created an impact, have been a solution, maybe to some of the issues affecting the youth seriously?
Well, for example, just last week, we had our representatives of the National Youth Council go to meet the president, and they gladly told us things like, we talked about corruption, we talked about the various issues and matters that are affecting Ugandan youth. And we believe that since they were in the presence of the Honorable Minister, in the presence of the President, and various people in line with matters of the youth, we believe the issues of the youth were listened to, and we believe they will be acted upon. Now we go to a celebration. If we are to assess, why do we celebrate? Or what would be the reason for me to carry myself, transport myself, go to Soroti to attend the National Youth Day celebration? When I do believe we celebrate when there's been an achievement, when there's been a change in status quo, development, that is a cause to celebrate. But if we are still using celebrations to push more cries, then I think we should be rejecting celebrations as a significance or as a sign of the plight we still carry. Because one of the ways I assess it is, for example, the celebrations are not bad. They are very good because each year there is a progress, you know. Last time we were crying PDM, now this year we are saying, thank you very much, PDM is trying to be rectified, and we have 30% allocation to the youth. Thank you very much. We had an issue of unemployment, you've brought in skills and all of that, we celebrate that. However, now after skilling, what next? What do we get next? But then also at a certain point where we are having a youth outcry of certain specific things, if, for example, we one day rejected and said, we do not want celebrations of this year, if there's a budget allocation of, let's say, just estimating of, let's say, 300 million to the celebration, how about we diverted that to maybe a loan scheme for Ntandipa for young people? I think that would be a good way to also celebrate. So in my assessment, if we have a reason to celebrate that is tangible, then we should celebrate in such a way. But also, I do think the form of celebration should change from just rallying youth in a certain place, and then they listen to speeches, which some speeches and things have been talked over and over again. How about National Youth Council came up and said, okay, this year's celebration, we have used the budget we are given to procure maybe this for the youth, and it's going to this. I think that would be a more creative way of celebration. So I do think celebration is good. However, when we still have challenges, I think we should drift from the whole, because when you look at celebration, we're seeing videos on social media of people saying either the food, no, the allowances, what. If we can drift and say, for the good of our nation, this celebration should be twisted to this, then I think that would be a good way of celebrating. But it is important for us to celebrate the youth in our country, because we've come from a point of, let's say, of no representation, no actual participation. And so we celebrate the journey we have come to. But then now when we get at a point where it becomes a new normal, that the youth are in parliament, the youth are heard, the youth are able to meet the president and share their views, then can we get to a point of, okay, if that has been, if an audience is already created, what more do we need at a celebration? Is it the youth chairman standing and presenting the challenges before the president, whom he met a few days back and still shared the same challenges, or it should be a change of form and actual things that are going to help the youth of Uganda? But I do think it is good to celebrate the achievements, how far we have come, and also share our plight to the state, and also try to motivate ourselves as young people and know that this day is ours and we are recognized globally. And from our recognition, we should find ways to make the day count and to make our lives better and our nations better.
While we are still discussing matters of the youth, their impact on national development, not forgetting that they still have a number of challenges hindering them to have their full potential. One time, His Excellency talked about a very big population not being a challenge to a country, but rather something that is full of opportunities for that country. And this is where I want to bring in Derek. When we look at the high population of youth we have in this country, how best can we make this a blessing and not a time bomb? Because there are those fears that, yes, we are producing, this life expectancy is now increasing, but also the infant death are totally reducing every day. So more children born are going to grow. They are going to be the youth of this country. And if we do nothing, these are the very people that are going to be problematic to our country. So how best can we ensure these youth are a blessing and a development to our country, rather than a time bomb we all await with fear?
Thank you. We need to check on the quality of education we are giving these people. For instance, I know a certain institution that is providing papers. You find someone has an A or a B in TV and radio production, but when he has never been before the camera or holding a microphone, or he has not even gone to the studio. Again, if at all we want to address the challenge of unemployment, of course we can't have zero unemployment in this world, because the population is growing every day compared to job opportunities that are available for them. But what we can make sure that we make a conducive environment for these people. How, for example, how do these people access financial services? For instance, in Bangladesh, Professor Yunus Muhammad, he met a young lady, 21-year-old. She was looking for capital to add in her business. But because she had nothing to give us security into banks and money lenders.
Sorry to interject you. We'll be having Sonko live from Soroti. So I'll just have to give each of you, for now, just a minute to have your parting shots. Maybe we'll continue later on because we need also that feel. Please do that very fast, and then I have the lady and we hand over briefly.
Thank you.
Have a break.
As I conclude my point, we need to make sure that these people, we invest in we need to improve
so basically we look at the quality of education.
Yes, the quality of education.
Yes, thank you so much. Belinda, your parting shot for now.
My parting shot for now would be that we want to thank the government of Uganda for the support it has given to the Ugandan youth. However, more has to be done, as you said, the quality of education and also more constant follow-up. We are glad we are having skilling, but what next after the skilling? Can we have the loan schemes in place? Can we have maybe government leasing of land, at least somewhere to start from where these skills can be deployed so that we know we have where to start from? But otherwise, to the youth that are out there, we thank God that we exist. We thank God that we are in a government or in an era where we are given at least an year attention, though we have underlying issues, but let us seize this opportunity, see how best we expand it and better ourselves as the youth of this nation and build it to the best of our capacity.
Well, thank you so much, Belinda and Derek. If time allows, I'll be still having this per round as we discuss matters of the youth. We'll now go for a break. Thank you for being with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, Kingdoms of Mountain Rwenzori segment.